will first search and know how far does the students know about our topic. Are you excited to find out? Come on! So we are now here on the cafeteria and we are going to search some students and ask them if how well they know about the tsunami and earthquake.
Sa among subject sa una sa among grade 11, we have disaster risk reduction management, and then na-discuss dito ang earthquake and tsunamis. Correlate ang earthquakes and tsunamis kaya ang earthquakes muna siyang shaking of the ground due to the converging and diverging plate tectonic boundaries. Tapos ang tsunami bali after effect naman sa earthquake.
So how can I relate tsunami to an earthquake? So tsunami is the after effects of an earthquake. So when there will be an earthquake, you are expected to have a tsunami.
Okay, once man yun maglihok ang mga plate, di ba? So, example, maglihok ang plate. So, naiposibilidad nga, di ba ang plate sa oceanic plate is nasa ubos sa kwan, dagat. So, once nga maglihok na siya, naiposibilidad nga ang katong tubig sa taas, ang dagko siya, kaya maglihok man.
And now that we've heard what the students know, and surprisingly, they got a point. But still, it's not enough. So here we are going to make you know the undefinable and believe the impossible. So let's begin. We all know that the Earth is composed of several tectonic plates, which moves constantly for about 2 to 5 centimeters per year, about the same speed that your fingernails grow, and it is driven by the mechanism underneath called the convection current. And this driving mechanism is a current in a fluid that results from convection. It moves in a pattern called a convection cell that forms when warm material rises and cools and eventually sinks down. It is warmed and rises again. This in turn causes the ground to shake. This results to sudden release of energy in the Earth's lithosphere, and this phenomena is called an earthquake. But what is an earthquake, by the way? Earthquake is one of the worst natural disasters. It causes a catastrophe. But do you know why do earthquakes occur? What are its after effects? Let's find out more about it. An earthquake is a sudden shaking movement of the surface of the earth. It is known as a quake, trembler, or tremor. Earthquakes can range in size from those that are so weak that they cannot be felt, to those violent enough to toss people around and destroy whole cities. The seismicity or seismic activity of an area refers to the frequency, type, and size of earthquakes experienced over a period of time. So far, there have been 62 earthquakes in India. The first recorded earthquake in India was on June 16, 1505, which occurred in Southern Karnali zone. And the most recent one happened in India is on January 31st, 2018, and occurred in Kashmir, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan. An earthquake is measured in Richter scale. A seismometer detects the vibration caused by an earthquake. It plots these vibrations on a seismograph. The strength or magnitude of an earthquake is measured using the Richter scale. Quakes measuring around 1 to 8 on the Richter scale can be devastating. Now, we are going to tackle about the major factors affecting an earthquake.
Earthquakes are caused by sudden tectonic movements in the Earth's crust. The main cause is that when tectonic plates, one rides over the other, causing orogeny collides earthquakes. The largest fault surfaces on Earth are formed due to boundaries between moving plates. The stress increases when they stick, relative motion between the plates. This continues until the stress rises and breaks, suddenly allowing sliding over the lacked portion of the fault, releasing the stored energy as shocked waves. Such faults are San Andreas Fault in San Francisco and Rift Valley in Africa.
And now, we will further discuss about the effects of an earthquake in the economy and most especially in the humanity.
The effects of an earthquake are terrible and devastating. Many buildings, hospitals, schools, etc. are destroyed due to it. A lot of people get killed and injured. Many people lost their money and property. It affects the mental health of people. The environmental effects of it are that including surface faulting, tectonic uplift and subsidence, tsunamis, soil liquefaction, ground resonance, landslide and ground failure, either directly linked to a quake source or provoked by the ground shaking.
And now that we have finally known why do earthquakes occur and the effects and factors inclined to it, it's time for us to focus on one of its after effects, the tsunami.
What is a tsunami? A tsunami is a series of ocean waves that sends surges of water, sometimes reaching heights of over 100 feet onto land. These walls of water can cause widespread destruction when they crash ashore. What causes a tsunami? These awe-inspiring waves are typically caused by large undersea earthquakes at tectonic plate boundaries. When the ocean floor at a plate boundary rises or falls suddenly, it displaces the water above it and launches the rolling waves that will become a tsunami. Most tsunamis, about 80%, happen within the Pacific Ocean's Ring of Fire, a geologically active area where tectonic shifts make volcanoes and earthquakes common. Tsunamis may also be caused by underwater landslide or volcanic eruptions. They may even be launched, as they frequently were in Earth's ancient past, by the impact of a large meteorite plunging into an ocean. Tsunamis race across the sea at up to 500 miles an hour, about as fast as a jet airplane. At that pace, they can cross the entire expanse of the Pacific Ocean in less than a day. And their long wavelengths mean they lost very little energy along the way. In deep ocean, tsunami waves may appear only a foot or so high, but as they approach a shoreline and enter shallower water, they slow down and begin to grow in energy and height. The tops of the waves move faster than their bottoms do, which causes them to rise precipitously. What happens when it hits land? As tsunamis trough, the low point beneath the wave's crest often reaches shore first. When it does, it produces a vacuum effect that sucks coastal water seaward and exposes harbor and seafloors. This retreating sea of water is an important warning sign of a tsunami because the wave's crest and its enormous volume of water typically hit shore 5 minutes or so later. Recognizing this phenomenon can save lives. A tsunami is usually composed of a series of waves called a wave train. So, its destructive force may be compounded as successive waves reach shore. People experiencing a tsunami should remember that the danger may not have passed the wave first and should await official word that it is safe to return to vulnerable locations. Some tsunamis do not appear on shore as massive breaking waves, but instead resemble a quickly surging tide that inundates coastal areas. The best defense against any tsunami is early warning that allows people to seek higher ground. The Pacific Tsunami Warning System, a coalition of 26 nations headquartered in Hawaii, maintains a web of seismic equipment and water level gauges to identify tsunamis at sea. Similar systems are proposed to protect coastal areas worldwide.